Hi, this is the third of the three-step QiGong movement, and this is one of my favorites. And it's actually very good if you want to really get relaxed and where the whole nervous system calms down, comes to a really peaceful, uh, just a deep place of being in the body, but very deeply relaxed. And great one to do before sleeping to get you to transition to sleep. Excellent for that. But beyond that, it is one of the most powerful healers as we connect to this very mystical place of the light, bright, empty felt place. So let me explain a little bit about the movement and how we start it. So first, I'm going to start with my feet shoulder width apart, with the feet parallel. And once I'm in that position, then I have an intention to relax my legs, so I turn the muscles off in the legs and just allow the weight of my body to settle on the bones. So the bones are actually supporting the weight of the body, and I'm balancing on the bones. Okay. Now the other thing is to just to relax every muscle of the body. One of the classic places is the belly. So we just want to relax the belly, the lower back, the sacrum, the tailbone. Just let that drop through the weight of through gravity, the force of gravity, and any tension around the hips. Just let that go. Shoulders, throughout the entire body. Okay, just relax and let go. Okay, so now once we're in this ready position, we're going to trace a pattern using our hands, and the the palms, the fingers will be used to guide the movement through the pattern. Okay, so to start with, we're going to start above the head with the palms facing forward. Okay, this is our start position for this exercise. Now let me just back up. When we do this exercise, it may seem like we're involving some stretching, some expansion, some opening through the joints, through the body. That's all a part of it. But we're going to go into a deeper place through accessing the QiGong and enter the QiGong state. And once we're there, we'll get the full benefit of the healing that this provides, okay, which is very powerful. It's a profound place of healing on many levels, okay? So we're going to start here at the top, palms facing forward, and now we slowly bring the hands down towards the head as we're bending the elbows. So the hands come down, and they're coming behind the head, roughly 5-6 inches behind the head as the elbows bend. So the hands come directly behind the head, in the middle of the head. In this position, now we begin to draw the elbows towards one another, and then the hands follow. So the hands are moving now towards the sides of the head by the ears. We continue the movement. Hands come forward. So now they're coming and covering the front of the face and the eyeballs. Once we're here, the hands start to descend, coming down towards the chin, past the chin, towards the collarbone. And then as we hit this part of the upper body, we're starting to make a diagonal movement off to the sides, downward, following the ribs off to the sides, coming down. Then the hands turn, where the fingers are now facing downward, and they come to the back in the kidney area, this area here. And then we're continuing from that position And we're continuing to lower the hands through the sacrum, tailbone, the buttocks, and then the hands come around the sides to the sides of the hips, and they continue to descend down the outsides of the legs. Okay? As they continue, we bend the knees, so we continue this downward movement, bending the knees as though we're going to pick up a heavy weight. With the spine is tall, looking up, and the hands come forward, and they meet with the backs of the hands coming together. Okay? And then we begin our upward movement where we straighten the knees, we start coming up, and then the hands follow, coming up through this central line, coming up, maintaining that connection through the center. We reach the center of the chest, and then the hands turn so that the fingers are now pointing towards the center of the chest. In this place here, we now open as though we're opening our wings to their fullest extent. So we open, and now the hands come out and they open with the palms facing the sky. Then we raise the arms coming up, all the way up towards the sky. And as we reach the maximum extent, the palms face forward once again. And this is our initial position, our start position for the movement. Okay? So that's one full cycle. So let's go through it now a little quicker. Let's see how it looks, just to get familiar with this pattern. Here we go. Okay, that's one full cycle. Now, I suggest doing that several times just so you get familiar with this pattern so that you can then enter the next part of the exercise where we get into the healing aspect. So when we drop into this next part, we want to really get a sense for the feeling of the qi with the palms and the fingers of the hands. Okay? So surrounding the body is this field of qi, and we're going to use the hands to sense that. And what we're looking for is where, as the hands are scanning over the body, where there's a different quality in the feeling of that qi. So again, it can be a difference in temperature, could be a feeling of resistance, could be a feeling of depletion, congestion, could be stickiness, prickly. Any of these things can, or you can even have a feeling of an emotion start to surface. Any of these things can happen, and it's a part of your sensitivity to the qi that allows you to go deeper and deeper into the healing. Okay? So I'm going to do this next time where as I'm feeling with my hands and I'm placing my attention on the subtleties of the quality differences in the qi, I'm going to pause when I notice some slight change, okay? And if I notice a resistance or an area where it just seems to be a little bit different, I'm going to pause in that area to allow this healing to go into those areas, okay? So this is how it looks. Okay, here we go. Starting from the beginning. Right here in this spot, I feel a resistance to the qi. So I'm going to pause, just hang out here. And then with a just slight willful intent, I move past that area of resistance and I continue the pattern. Noticing resistance here, I pause. Then continue the pattern, pushing through it. Again, pausing. Continuing. The area in the back of where the kidneys are, it's a classic area where you'll typically find some area there that the qi will be a little different. You just hang out there for a bit and then continue past that point of resistance, pushing through it and continuing on with the movement. Okay, so there we have it. So now that's part of it, is really getting tuned into the subtleties of the qi. But there's another thing, and that is we want to be able to use the ability of this scanning ability of the hands and the qi to work into different layers of the body. So the first time I make my run through, I use the hands to scan as far as I want to go. And where I typically start is I go into the fascia level of the body, which is this, right beneath the skin layer is this fascia and fluid that flows throughout the body. And where there is blockage in that fascia and the fluid movement, usually there's some kind of illness or health issues that develop. So I want to go through, and as I'm combing this qi surrounding the body, I'm intending that this hands scan to the depth of the fascia. Okay, that's the intent. You just hold that with the mind, let go, and feel with the hands. Okay, so it looks like this. So it's kind of really cool because what we're doing is we're giving our own x-ray to ourselves using our hands as our sensing ability. Okay, so we're able to tune into where something could be subtly off that needs a correction. Okay, now what I do, I might do that thing connecting with the fascia for maybe 3 or 4 cycles again, and then I will switch to the next deeper layer. And for me, I usually go to the blood level of the body. So I'll go to the level of the veins, the arteries, and the capillaries, and I'll connect to that level as I'm scanning with the hands. Okay? Feeling the texture and quality of the qi, pausing those areas, and then gently moving through it. Okay? So the third place that the hands will scan is the place where we reach the full extent of the healing that this QiGong is able to give us. we reach this mystical place of the light, bright, empty, felt place. Okay? Now, that's just words, and words themselves can't really bring us to this place, but I suggest you just follow along and allow yourself to connect to this field, this place, okay? In the quantum field where all healing takes place, okay? The light, bright, empty, felt place, okay? So in this place, I'm going to imagine my body is very large, like the size of a galaxy, okay? And in this place of being large, there's lots of empty space between particles of dust. So I can consider the stars to be particles of dust, and the body is comprised of stars, and then there's light years of space between those points of light, the stars. Lots of empty space. So that's where the mind goes in this final phase of the QiGong. It's where you are that almost where the body completely disappears. Okay? Empty space. But as it disappears, you still have the ability to feel with the hands some sense of qi, where the qi is different. Where is it a little bit off? Okay? And we're going to pause in those areas. So let me demonstrate as we go into this QiGong state of the light, bright, empty felt place. Okay? Here we go. Okay, so that's one full cycle in this QiGong state, and this is a beautiful place to bring yourself before you go to sleep, to quiet the nervous system, bring peace to the mind, to reset the immune system to a very healthy, vibrant level, to bring a place where water is coming to the skin and moisturizing the skin, to release rigidity and tension in any part of the body. More importantly, to bring healing to yourself at the core level. So a few pointers here, a few tips is that the more that you can relax and simply let go of the mind and just feel into the place of this qi, and you allow yourself to go to the place where we're visiting this empty space, this empty field, as you're practicing, tuning in, that you will have this greater capacity to sense and feel the sensitivity to these minor changes in the chi. Your hands will become more sensitive. You'll notice it as you're scanning yourself, places where there's a little bit of a difference. As you enter this empty field, very powerful place, you'll begin to bring healing to those areas. And then your hands will become more sensitive, so you'll be able to sense this for other people. You'll be able to sense it for trees, for your pets, anything. So anything you just want to connect with, you'll be able to feel that and enjoy that exchange between your chi and the chi of another, okay, through this communication. So I invite you now, just a few things also, classic areas of where we get thrown off is seeing this as just a calisthenic, okay? And as we're doing this, we are getting some movement. We are moving the body, we're opening the joints, we're moving the muscles, but it's not strictly a calisthenic for just moving the arms around, okay? So we want to just get into the deepest relaxed we can and get into the feeling of how much can I allow myself to put my attention on the feeling of this chi, okay? Then you'll go deeper and deeper. And so this exercise is very good for the beginner, but it's just as good for the advanced person because you always have an opportunity to go deeper into the state, okay? You might have experienced an old surgery site or a scar or something, and all of a sudden you're picking up this place as you're scanning where it just reveals itself, okay? But you didn't have the intention before you started the exercise to find anything. You just say, I'm doing my scan. But lo and behold, you're stopping and it turns out to be an ancient surgery site, an old wound, what have you. These places are where we begin to change and come back to wholeness, come back to an integrated, whole, healed, divine you. Okay? So that's the key. Deepening the relaxation and letting go of the mind and feeling. Okay? So I leave you with that, and may you have fun playing with it. See you on the other side.